The Sony A7 III is an excellent choice if you want to capture really great photos. No matter if you're shooting landscapes, street art and food, hotels and restaurants, weddings, portraits, animals or sports, the Sony A7 III always delivers, but you can only expect professional results if you have the right camera settings in the first place, and that's exactly what we will cover today. I will share my exact photography settings on the Sony A7 III, which guarantee high quality results in any situation. So welcome, I appreciate your time. Now let's get started by turning the upper wheel on manual mode. If you now press menu on your camera, you will find this red camera icon where you can change your photography settings. I always shoot in file format RAW, since you get the best results out of it and you also have endless flexibility when editing your photos. RAW file type is uncompressed. This means that you have a bigger file size to work with, which obviously leads to better results. I will skip the JPEG settings since I only shoot photos in RAW. I will leave a few other settings throughout this video, and this is mainly because I don't use them or they don't improve my workflow in any way. The aspect ratio is 3:2 instead of 16:9, since you have more cropping options when you edit a photo. The APS-C Super 35, I don't use it, I don't touch it. Page 2, the color space is on sRGB. The rest on this page I leave as it is. Page 3, drive mode. For 95% of the time I use single shot, since I rarely take photos of fast directions like sports or weddings. The recall and the memory function. In my opinion, this is one of the best tools that you can find on this camera. You can save camera setups and quickly switch between them by turning the wheel to either 1 or 2. When I'm shooting videos, this is an absolute game changer, but this will be covered in detail in another video. Just remember this option, this is a big one. Page 4 is covering time-lapse settings. There are thousands of videos about this topic, so if you're shooting time-lapses, this is where you can change these settings. Page 5 deals with focus. For 90% of the time, my focus mode is on continuous autofocus. That's just what I prefer, it may be different for you. Page 6. The face or eye autofocus is set to on. The autofocus track sensibility is on 5, since I want my focus to react as fast as possible. AF with shutter is on, and this is super helpful if you slightly press the shutter button once and get instant focus before you actually snap a photo. Page 7 and 8. These are some more focus settings, but I've never touched them because I don't think there's anything that provides more quality when taking photos. So let's skip to page 9. Exposure compensation I leave on +0.0. When it comes to ISO, I always try to stay on 100, but for low light conditions, I either boost my ISO or reduce my shutter speed. The metering mode is on multi. I would highly suggest you to learn how to shoot in manual mode, since you can always change the settings according to your needs. Spot metering point is on center, and the exposure steps and AL with shutter I leave on default. Page 11. Here you find everything about flash. I don't really use flashes, so I won't give you any advice on this one. Page 12. On page 12 you will find white balance. Most of the time I shoot my photos in auto. Since we are shooting in RAW, we have endless flexibility to fix everything in post. And instead of switching around your white balance all the time, you can really focus on the shot and what's happening in front of the camera instead of dealing around with the setting. Creative and picture profile are set to off, since they just add unwanted styles to your image, and I can think of any situation where I would need that. When shooting videos it's different. I just made a video on that where I share my exact picture profile settings, so check it out if you're interested. Page 13. Focus assist. I don't really change much here. The only thing which is extremely helpful is the peaking setting option. If you're shooting with manual focus, you get those little dots where you can tell exactly what's in focus and what's out of focus. Page 14. Here I leave everything in standard. Don't really change much here. That's pretty much it for the photo settings. In the next video I will show you how to set up your Sony A7 III for shooting videos.